Well, good afternoon, everybody. I guess it's close into the evening. It's the afternoon where you are. Welcome everyone to Rainy Nights. This is the segment on my YouTube channel where I interview other motovloggers and motorcycle personalities. If you haven't been here before, I am Rainy Rider. I ride a BMW Grand America and a Harley Sportster. Free to give the channel a like and a subscribe. Tonight we have with us Rebecca Never Grows Up. Say hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me.
So there's a funny little story how you got that name. Here, when I first started following you, your channel was called Rebecca Grows Up.
Yes, it was.
So you changed your mind.
I did. It was actually through some comments of other riders when we were laughing and joking about how we're not really being like what an adult is. And so I made a joke like, oh, I should change my name to Rebecca Never Grows Up. And then it just kind of stuck with me. So a month later, I went ahead and made the change.
I got my channel named the same way. When I first started the channel, it was like Mike on a bike or something weird like that. And
Yeah.
My first 3 videos I made, it rained. And somebody at work said, you should change your name to Rainy Rider. And they said it as a joke. And I thought, actually, that's a really good idea. So that's
See,
what I
that's
did.
how things happen.
That's how accidents happen. So accidents always happen. All right, tonight, let's see who's in the chat. I've got Gma Rides, my favorite sister. Bleak Rides, my favorite brother. Julie Smith, always present. I have My Pillion. She's here. Who else we got in the chat? Chasing Ghost, my favorite trucker sister. She's also in the chat. So the chat will slowly fill up because this was kind of a not quite a last minute thing, but we got it out. But people are showing up, so let's keep it rolling. So tell us, where are you from and what do you ride?
Okay, so I am from West Coast Canada. My province is British Columbia, and I'm in the southern part of the province on the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, my city that I live in is called Richmond.
What is it called?
Yeah. Richmond.
Richmond, okay.
Yeah, but more or less Greater Vancouver. If you're familiar with Vancouver, Canada.
I am more familiar with like Montreal area, but I do have a bunch of friends who live up around the Pacific Northwest. Red Rider actually said she was going to try to be in tonight. Let's see if
awesome.
I hope she shows up. So did you get to look her up?
I did. I looked her up. She's about a 4-hour drive from where I live, just to give you a sense of where we are.
Canada's big, so that's not far. It's actually not too far at all.
No, we have lots of land. Yeah. So yeah, and I ride a 2020 Ducati Monster, 797.
Nice.
And I got that. Next month will be 1 year, but I insured it in March of this year. So this has been my primary riding season for actually in my career as a rider.
Okay, so let's talk about you. How long have you been riding?
So I got my learners in June of 2022. And I had a Honda Rebel 300. And I rode that I put 500 kilometers on it. So that's like 310 miles, just to give you a sense of how much I didn't ride.
We all start low, it's fine.
Yeah, I was really nervous. I didn't have like a partner to ride with, and I felt quite debilitated to get out. So I thought, this actually might not be for me. And then I met my partner, and he's been riding for almost as long as he can walk in, I probably, but he's like, I don't know if that's the right bike for you. You might need something like more of a sport bike or a street bike. So we found the Ducati, and it was an instant change for me. My confidence level of being in that position just changed how I felt on the road. Probably also the weight of the bike. I mean, I don't obviously use that bike to near what it's capable of, but I feel really solid on it.
Well, I've seen you trainings, and I've seen your before videos and your after videos. So you're doing what we tell everybody, any senior person. How do you get to be a better rider? Practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. And you actually are getting out there and practicing. And I still do it. I'll get it. If I'm running around and I'm in a parking lot, I'm like, oh, let's do some figure eights. Let's do some of these box cuts. But you actually have a plan. I've seen your drawing that you actually go out to these parking lots and you actually run a course. these parking
We
lots.
do.
Just to stay sharp. And so yeah, you're doing all the right stuff.
Thank you.
So
It feels really good. And the most noticeable thing is once you do those parking lot drills, the moment like we ride home, I feel instantly like I'm a better rider just from doing an hour of drills. And I mean, by no means am I an expert at anything. I'm learning all of the weaves and an offset weave and figure eights. But yeah, doing those skills for an hour, and I ride home and I feel like I just know my bike that much better. I really love it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
So tonight, speaking of Pacific Northwest and all that area, I would like to say I have a semi-sponsor now, Indy Ridge. And if you go to Indy Ridge and you enter the code Rainy Got Wet Again, you can get 15% off of your purchases. I know the owners, like probably everybody in the chat knows, Steve is a good friend of mine. We talk all the time. I actually do some pro bono work for him. And we always joke about how it never rains in California, and I'm always riding in the rain. And the last ride I took up to see Bleak, actually, it rained the entire way back. So 8 hours in the rain the whole way back. And we made a joke about it because I did some little shorts on the boots I was wearing, which were his boots.
Yeah.
And we joked about having a code, a discount code. So he gave me that code, Rainy Got Wet Again. And I thought it was the funniest thing. So
Rainy Got Wet Again.
If you guys are looking for some boots, go in. Go to Indy Ridge. Any product in the store, the link never stops. It's good forever. Or I guess it's good until he takes it down. But it's not a one-time deal. It's many times you want to put it in. 15% off. So go there, shop, look around, get some cool boots.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So also while we're talking about it, let's not forget what we're working on right now is the Forgotten Angels. ForgottenAngelsFlorida.org is the charity that I go to and I hype big time. Most of the people in the chat here do. And it's for children who have aged out of the foster care system and get thrown out on the streets and have to make it on their own. So right now we're building Power Wheels. I don't know if I told you that or not, but
I saw the base.
Yeah, we're all going out and getting Power Wheels. We're going to take them apart, paint them. I actually found a place on Amazon where you can get some souped up motors for them. So right now it's stripped out I stripped out all the plastics off of it that weren't the base colors and washed it, scrubbed it down. It's drying now. I'm going to repaint it. We're going to put it together, put some cool logos on it, and take it down there. And we're going to race them and destroy them. Hopefully not. That's probably what's going to happen.
How many cars were there?
Right now, she wanted 10. I think we have 12 in there now.
Wow.
So we're also looking for sponsors. So if you want to sponsor one of the racers, donate some money. Go to ForgottenAngelsFlorida.org and we throw that up on the screen one more time.
Yeah, I checked it out. It's a beautiful organization. I love the cause.
Yep, and it's huge. It's very close to our hearts. Like I said, I go there twice a year. You actually see the people that run the organization, the kids that it helps, and it's a big thing. I mean, it's a fantastic organization. So you guys are out there, do it. Go give some money. Enter one of the raffles, win some motorcycles. They have some awesome motorcycles down there that you can not bid on, but actually get raffled off. And there's a new bike about every 3 to 4 weeks. So what they do down there, they buy old bikes and they fix them up, and they get old classic 80s, 90s, early 2000 bikes, and they fix them up and raffle them off. So it's a good cause.
For my day job outside of riding, I'm an early interventionist for kids age 0 to 3. And for our program, children in foster care are automatically referred to our program. So I work with families who are supporting children who are in care. So I feel like Forgotten Angels resonates with me. Yeah.
They do.
But I'm on the early end. I'm on the 0 to 3 years old side, so the first end of it.
Okay. The link is the chat here is going to have some. I don't know if you can see the sidebar, but people are asking for your link and your socials. So your social is on Instagram, all one word. Rebecca Never Grows Up, right? Rebecca with
yes, it is all one word. Yeah, I don't see the chat. I don't know. It's blank when I open it. So.
Okay.
Rebecca Never Grows Up.
Rebecca Never Grows Up. I'll post your link. Well, when we're done, go ahead and post your Instagram link down in the comments in the chats.
Okay.
So let's make this all about you now.
Okay.
All right. So are you a fair weather rider or a rough rider? You're up in the PNW. You pretty much got to be able to ride in the rain, right?
I got the Ducati, and I am a fair weather rider.
But you have to ride in the rain if you have to, right?
Yeah, right. And we have such a long rainy season here in the West Coast. So it's coming to a couple weeks, maybe.
I don't
So
think
fair
we've
weather
left
riding.
it. Yeah, I don't
Hmm?
think we've left the rainy season here all year so far. It
Yeah.
just rains, rains, and rains.
Okay. Yeah. That'll be for the next 4 months, 5 months. For now, it's good. So fair weather riding.
Fair weather rider. Who inspires you to ride? You've already told this, but tell us a little about him and how he affects your riding.
So my partner, he, well, I think I have to start. Who first inspired me riding is my late father. He rode a Harley. He passed away just before I turned 3. And I think all my life I thought it'd be cool to feel connected to him and do something that he did, have like a shared hobby. When I feel the wind on my bike, am I feeling maybe what my late father felt? So that was what inspired me, but I wasn't, I turned 44 by the time I'm 46 right now, so 44 when I got my learner. So it took me a long time. But yeah, riding with my boyfriend when I met him, yeah, it just took me to the next level. He was patient with me. We did lots of clutch work, lots of friction work, and again, we do the parking lot drills. So he grew up in Colombia, and so Colombia roads and riding motorcycles is kind of crazy. When we went there, just the lane splitting, motorcycles are everywhere there. And so his riding skill here in Canada is pretty easy for him. So anyways, yeah, watching him ride inspires me because it's like riding for him looks like walking. And I love how that looks.
Yep. Billy went to South America here, I think that was about a year ago, and he kind of discovered it. So I was in the Navy for 20 years. Anywhere you go in the world, except for America, the majority of the vehicles on the street are bikes, especially in South America. And if you go to Southwest Asia, um, because it's so overpopulated, and if you're driving a regular sized car, you can fit 8 motorcycles or 8 scooters in the area that you can put one car in, and so it's a much better alternative, and you can drive them all out closer together.
Yeah, and for him to get used to, like, we're not allowed to lane split where we are. You will get a ticket, and the car drivers will hate you because you're breaking the rules. But for him to wait behind a car on a motorcycle is hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's kind of insane. I mean, there's really no speed limit really there either for in other parts of the world. If you can get a bike up to 100 miles an hour, it's going to go 100 miles an hour. Because they just kind of turn their head to it because it's you're really saving the environment. It's funny how harsh Americans are on motorcycles, but it's actually better for the environment, better for overcrowding, better for traffic, better on the roads. Yeah, they just kind of overlook it here.
Can I share a little story?
Of course, we're here to talk about you.
So at the beginning of the riding season, the radio was talking about road safety, and so it's riding season, it's summer, so let's watch out for our motorcycles. So they had like an instructor come on the radio and share some tips on how drivers can be more cautious of the riders. And so one of the tips was, if you're in a car and driving, every now and then look around you and count how many motorcycles you see. So when I said that to my boyfriend, he laughed because he was imagining counting motorcycles in Colombia on the road, and he's like, I would crash if I was counting motorcycles. But that's how not many motorcycles there are here.
On Blake had a video of riding down, and I can't remember where he was. I think it was in Cartagena, maybe. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
But basically, there were no stoplights, go signs. They were just running between each other. It was this very well choreographed little. It was just crazy to watch. It looked like a dance. They're just flying through there.
On my threads, way near the beginning of my threads journey, I posted a little video from in Bogota, Colombia, with the motorcycles coming down the hill, and it's just motorcycle after motorcycle. Yeah.
So, do you go to motorcycle meetups? Do you go to like bike nights? Do you go to?
No. You know why I don't is I've got 2 kids. I work full time, and I'm separated from their father. So when my kids go to their dads, and then I spend time riding, there's not a lot of time left over for joining meetup groups and stuff. It's limited time how much I have to actually ride right now. So I I like to just, yeah, ride.
Okay. So what's the biggest difference between the first bike you got and the bike you ride now?
Uh, the biggest difference for me is, oh, there's lots. The one thing I thought I would like was that my feet were flat on the floor of the Rebel, but I actually don't care about that at all. And I'm not tippy toeing. I'm pretty solid, but I'm not flat footed. But the biggest difference, I think, is the weight and the feel, the stability of how I feel on the Ducati versus the Rebel. Yeah.
Okay. You got to be comfortable.
Yeah. I think I didn't like this like position back a bit. And the Monster is not a sport bike, right? But
The Monster is what they call a standard.
Standard.
It's a standard cruiser.
Okay.
So it's not quite a sport bike. It's not quite a cruiser. It's kind of there. It's like I don't know if you're familiar with BMWs. BMW has the R9s, the R9T, the R100s, or the R1000s, and they're basically just basic sport bikes. They're equivalent to the old Honda, the 550 LTDs and stuff. They're just a frame, and they're not way too bent forward, but not too bent far backwards. It is the most comfortable bike is the standard because it's basically it's a mid position on the bike, and it's what most people are most comfortable with.
I love it, and for some reason I thought the Rebel position would be it, but this is it.
It's different for anybody, and what I'll tell anybody, you get the bike that's most comfortable for you. And that question will come up again later, but
okay.
And I know you said you were for these questions, we know you're a beginner rider, but it's good sometimes to hear from a beginner rider about, because it kind of refreshes us people who have rid for a while why we got into riding. So don't be afraid to answer any of these questions. Don't think you said you're afraid of being an imposter or everybody gets imposter syndrome every once in a while, believe. And I've been riding since I've been riding for 45 years. And every once in a while I feel like okay, no, I'm good. I'll get over it. Well, let's ask you these questions. So what is the stupidest thing you've ever done on a motorcycle? And I know you're a new rider, so these things are fresh in your mind. What's the stupidest thing you've ever done? Something you thought you could do, and then you went, well, that was dumb.
Well, so on my riding course that I took, the bike, I can't remember what happened, but I was going to be switching bikes, maybe from like the Rebel to a Grom. I can't quite remember, but the instructor motioned for me to come out of the lineup and go towards him. And this is still my very first day riding a motorcycle. So I'm still learning the clutch and the rear brake and the throttle and the front brake. And it's not like I'm 10 or 11 years old where you maybe learn things a little bit easier when you're younger. Like, I'm in my 40s, so my brain is trying so hard to put it all together. So anyways, I moved my bike towards him and I threw the clutch and my bike front tire went up. And then all I saw was my instructor's face was like, because I was like going straight for him and the bike dropped and I fell off and I almost didn't go back to class the next day. Yeah. So I got a nice bruise on my knee from that one.
So in Canada, your riding class is a little different than ours down here. And I saw again on Red Riders when her sister took it.
Yeah.
We go to our riding classes are a 3-day course, and the third day they give you a certificate. You go down to the DMV or what do you guys call it up there?
Motor Vehicle Office.
The MVO, and you just they give you your license. If you can pass the MSF course, the rider's course, you just get your license.
Yeah, so the first part sounds similar to here. You can take your course, and then those people are licensed to do what's called an MST, Motorcycle Skills Test. And you do like 5-cone weave, a U-turn, get your bike up to 30, then do a quick stop. And you do that twice. And then if you do that nicely, then you get your like initial learners with some restrictions on it. And then you take that to the motor vehicle office. And once you pass the MST, most restrictions are removed other than you can't ride at nighttime and you can't have a passenger. And from there, you have 1 full year to book your road test. And if you don't book your road test or pass your road test in that first 12-month chunk of time, then you have to redo the whole thing again. But taking the course is not mandatory.
Okay. Here it's not mandatory either, it just kind of helps you. I'm going to try something. I have some feedback, so I'm going to try my Bluetooths.
Okay.
To see if they. Okay, let's try this. I'm trying to get rid of the back feed. So everybody hang with us. That ain't working. Okay, let's keep going.
What were you trying to do?
I got a little bit of back feed coming out of the speakers, and it never fails. As soon as you go to do something, everything can be perfect all day, but when you're going to do something important, that's when everything messes up.
Yeah.
So, it happens. All right, let's keep going. So what was your so that was the you said that was the stupidest thing you've done. What was the most scariest moment? Would that have been the same thing or?
No. So my scariest moment, I got the courage to take my little rebel out around my city. And I was really proud of myself. I was driving at city speeds and getting out there in the traffic. And then I came home and I turned left into my townhouse complex and I lost focus and I fixated on the tree and across from the tree, like 2 feet apart, was like a metal sign, like a parking kind of sign and a curb. So I looked up and saw the tree, fixated on the tree, got scared, threw my clutch, went up over the curb, in between the tree and the pole, crashed, fell down, got lots of bruises, no broken bones. The clutch cable was broken, the front headlight was broken. And this is right in my complex. So that really scared me. So, and then I picked my bike up, my neighbors came out, and I had some good bruises after a couple days went by. My helmet had some grapes on it from the tree. So that was pretty scary, especially coming up like after a high. Like I was proud of myself for being out in the city. And then I crashed and the instructor from my course came by a couple days later. He was able to repair my handlebars and the clutch for the meantime before I took it in to get the headlight fixed. And anyways, he just says any accident that you walk away from is a win. Trying to like build my confidence up, right? He's like, that left could have been at an intersection. It could have been, there's all the could have beens it could have been. So
you're wearing a helmet though, right?
I had all my gear.
All your gear. And so for you, what does all your gear mean?
So my helmet with the face, my visor, my leather gloves, either my mesh Chinese riding jacket or my leather jacket, and then my boots, my Alpine Star boots, and either padded jeans or these padded motorcycle leggings. So that's my gear.
So you were pretty covered up, I guess.
I was covered up. I was still, so without that, like I had some nice bruises on my knees and my elbows from, I can't really remember, right? Obviously going between the pole and the tree, I don't know. But I had no broken bones. And so I remembered that bit of advice, if you will, like any accident you walk away from is a win. So I don't even know if I want to say it humbled me, because I'm pretty humble and cautious, but it just made me really reassess how focused you have to be 100% of the time.
Yeah. So In the military, we call that a self-correcting error. The things that make you do what you did, you think twice on next time before you do them. Whether that's a
Yes.
good thing or a bad thing, but it wakes you up to the possibilities of things. So it makes you more cautious.
Yes. And then it was hard to get on my bike after that. And I don't have like a riding buddy, but I had a lot of like people encouraging me because they knew I had this goal. But I was like, and that was when I got to that point of maybe riding's just not for me. Maybe I thought I would like it. And then I met my partner, and then we looked at different bikes. And so that was my very scariest moment. Yeah.
Okay. So what has been your favorite part of riding?
My favorite part of riding is like the wind. I think that's my favorite thing is feeling that wind as I'm riding. And I think this may sound small and silly, but like making a lane change and like leaning forward and shoulder checking and kind of like swinging my bike a bit and changing lanes. I think I really enjoy how that feels. Yeah. Using my bike. I think that's what I love. I love feeling and using my bike.
I like the roller coaster feel of a motorcycle sometimes. You can
Yeah.
feel the forces against you when you go to lean, and you feel it pulling you,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
rev the engine, and it kind of stands you back up.
Yes, yes. And it's like a dance, you know? And
Especially on your bike. So
yeah,
you've got the monster. So you have the, what is it, 620 and the 8. There's a, which one do you got?
697 or 797.
You have the 7. Okay, so you have the mid. Oh, yeah, that's nice.
It's so nice, yeah.
Good job.
And again, I don't use it near of what it's capable of. Just I haven't ventured that far. But anyways, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's so nice.
Cool. So flip side of that, what's the most frustrating part of riding for you?
Okay, I don't know what frustrating. Now, I did a post on this the other day about making sure I'm fresh on that front brake, right? I know how to use it. I make sure, and I'm working on that. So the most frustrating part for me right now is when making a right-hand turn, when you don't have to come to a full stop, like there's no stop sign, but you have to slow down. I'm just not that smooth with it yet. I feel like I gear right down, almost usually back to first gear. I'm on my rear brake, barely my front brake, and so I just feel like it's really choppy to make a nice smooth turn at a slow speed, but still in traffic.
We were just talking about, I want to say it was a couple weeks ago, some people favor a right-hand turn, some people favor a left-hand turn. And every biker does it. There's some, to me, I would rather make 20 rights. It was actually one of my videos. I was going home from the gas station, and to get home, taking a left out of the gas station, taking another left would put me home in like 2 lefts and a right. But I chose to exit the gas station on the other side and go all the way around because I'd rather make rights than lefts. And it's just, I feel better, I feel better making a right. And everybody, it was funny, it was in the chat, we were talking about it, and everybody was like, well, I'd rather make lefts. Well, I'd rather make rights. Everybody has a favorite turn they like to make. So yeah, you're not alone there.
Okay, that's good to hear. Good to hear. So what we worked on Thursday night when I went out for some practicing, that's what I worked on, was using the front brake. I avoided my rear brake. Went back down to second gear and just tried to lean through that turn and slowly release the front brake. So I worked on that a little bit. It felt so nice, but I'm not super confident yet.
And I never used the front brake. I use the front brake if I'm going to stop at a stop sign and hold me in place. That's it. I rear brake only.
So I posted maybe a couple days ago a video of me practicing my front brake, and I put in like my blurb was how I really use the rear brake a lot, and I want to work on the front brake because I want to stay fresh. And most comments are really positive and really friendly and positively critical, offering good criticism, feedback. And there's a couple of people on there that like, if you don't know how to use a front brake, you're dumb, get back in a car. So it's nice to be.
You're going to have trolls everywhere. Like I said, I've been riding. So I got my first motorcycle in 1979.
Okay.
And I literally have not been, there's probably a 4-year stretch I didn't have a motorcycle after my first marriage. And or between my first marriage and halfway, probably like 3 or 4 years into this one. But that was it. And
Okay.
I have never liked using the front brake. Now, I mean, I've gone through, again, the military requires you to take a riding course every 3 years. So
Mm.
I know how to use it in emergency braking. I know how to use it in emergency situations and stuff. But, I have always been taught never use the front brake in a turn, never hit the front brake first if you can help it. Because if you hit the front brake, you always hit the rear brake first. And I've actually gone through a couple of years there saying you got to hit both brakes at the same time. That's how you qualify a stop. And after 3 years, they were like, yeah, no, don't do that. That's a bad thing.
Okay.
Just like there's trolls out there that they will read a little bit about motorcycles. They get on a motorcycle, they ride for a year or two, and they go, oh, I know everything about motorcycles. I'm going to pick everybody apart. And they do it.
They're so mean, but
Well, here a few years ago, the thing was push into a turn. And people were saying counter steer. Counter steer is when you push the bars in the opposite direction. Actually, that's not what it is. You're actually pushing the bike down. You're pushing the bike down onto the smaller part of the wheel. You're not turning that wheel. If you turn that wheel, you're going to go over. But people who really don't ride that much religiously would tell you, turn the wheel the opposite direction. That's how you make a turn. No, that's how you die. That's how you die. And they got away from teaching that at MSF because so many people misunderstood it and kind of misinterpreted it. People are actually flipping their bikes because that's what will happen if you turn the wheel while you're going 30, 40 miles an hour. And if you're going faster than that, God help you, you're going to die. And so many people start going hand over handlebars because that's just what happens. And so they get away from teaching that because they're like, we're not teaching this right, so we're not going to teach it at all. But, that's why you see a lot of guys teaching these MSF courses. They're in their 50s and 60s because they have made all the mistakes and they can tell you exactly what that MSF course does because they know. They got away from all these 20-year-old instructors that they just graduated MSF course. Now they're going to teach these courses because they were doing it wrong. They misunderstood the course. They misunderstood the assignment. But,
and I have to say, for the course that I did, the older instructor was a little bit more forgiving and more understanding. Not forgiving, that was a course, but
understanding,
understanding,
because he can look at it and see. It's like they're wizards. They can look, and again, these guys have been riding as long as I have. They can look at somebody and go, this is what you're doing because I've done it. Not because, oh my God, you're wrong, do it this other way. They can look at it and say, I know exactly what you did wrong because I've done it. Here's how to fix it. And those are the good instructors.
I've got those ones on threads. I go to their profile and I can see like their age and how long they've been riding and what they share and then the advice they give me after watching like a 10-second video. They know what I'm doing wrong.
Oh, there's one guy that he just eats me up. This two of them actually. One of them is Dan the fireman. He gives the worst.
Okay. So can I interrupt there for a second? So I wanted to practice the offset cone weave, and I took it from Dan the fireman. So we set it up on Thursday. The video that he posts the cones I think are, let's say 10 feet apart and then offset by 1 foot on each side. And on his video, he does 2 and then he rides off. So we set it up with like 6 or 7 offset weaves. It was
there are people,
and that's meant to be a beginner drill. And we were like, and one also, he's a modest guy. He's like, I maybe this is too hard for my skill level, or we need smaller bikes. But anyways, it didn't work.
Yeah, there's people who know how to do things, but they can't teach you how to do those things. And Dan the fireman, whenever he tries to comment on something, like he does these rec analyses. And the funniest thing was, I can tell what he did. He hit his back brake. Never hit your back brake. Always use your front brake. It's like, you're an idiot. But I've seen that guy ride, and when he goes into these corners, I can see him hitting his back brake first because the bike will rise first and then dip. So I know he's hitting his back brake first too. But he doesn't realize it, I guess. But I've seen him do analysis on people that run off the road, and I'm like, you're absolutely wrong. And we make fun of him in some of my chats, like, oh, there you go, you're hitting your back brake. You should never hit your back brake. Because it's just funny like that. And the other guy is this Moto Jitsu guy. He's a good rider, but he can't tell you what he's doing. He does all this ride analysis stuff, and just like he doesn't know what he's actually doing himself, and it just drives me nuts. Because
they're popular, those two. Like as a new rider, of course, I went on and searched who was leading.
I used to like Dan the fireman, and once he started doing these analysis, I'm all about his medical stuff. Do your medical training, get stuff done.
Okay.
But yeah. That's just two people who, again, if they were teaching seasoned riders, they can kind of interpret what he's saying and make sense of it. For a new rider, that makes no sense what they're saying.
Yes, and that's
and they don't realize that.
to
That's
hear
the
you
bad
say
part.
that.
Yeah.
Mm.
The bad part is they don't realize that that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Buck, welcome into the chat. Buck says, welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Hello.
Anyway, yeah, be very particular who you, again, I'm one of these guys on YouTube, but be very particular on who you listen to on YouTube.
Yeah, I have to be now.
Because some people give you very bad information.
And
the bad part is some people live that information. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's scary because you're out there and you're like, you look at this person, they look like they obviously do know how to ride, right? They're seasoned riders, but maybe, yeah, you take what they're saying and you think they know everything. And you have to be careful.
I know a guy who said riding and teaching is like brushing your teeth. You may know how to brush your own teeth, but try explaining to someone else how to brush their teeth.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Entirely different.
Because you don't realize what's going on in someone else's mouth. Unless you've analyzed it yourself way before trying to tell somebody, you'll have no clue.
And I think it's important, I would say, for a teacher to remember the breakdown of all the steps to be able to do something that now comes natural to them.
Yep.
Right? Like there's a lot of steps that my brain is still focusing on that's not second nature yet. So I'm thinking about all that stuff. I think it's important for an instructor to really bring it back to the basics of like, and maybe you're gearing down, you've got some pressure on the rear brake, you're going to start to put the front brake, but all of that is not natural for me. Well, it's coming, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I was an instructor in the military, and this was way back in 1995. I went to instructor school, and one of your first assignments is to write a procedural on how to make a sandwich. And then get up in front of everybody, and your procedural can't include anything except for what you write down and in the expression how to do it.
Yeah.
And there were people that got up there and went, "Oh, I left out this, I left out that." And the instructor says, "Follow your instructions. You're the one that wrote them." And one dude was up there with no knife, and he goes, "I forgot to." He said, "Spread the mayonnaise on the bread," and he's like, "I don't have anything." And the guy's like, "Spread it on the bread." So he's like, and it's like, again, it's like that. There's things you forget that it's commonplace in your head. You know exactly what to do. Telling someone else how to do it, that's a different story.
But that's a responsibility of as the sign of a good instructor.
Yeah. And again, it's the whole purpose of that exercise was not to embarrass anybody, but to learn. To learn what's commonplace to you is not commonplace to somebody else.
No, not a beginner, right?
Yeah. But I digress.
Anyways.
So we're over halfway through the year now. Do you have anything planned? Any rides planned? Any place you want to go? Are you that far along in your journey yet?
So what I do want to do, and there's no plan for like a date set. It might have to wait till next spring. But so on the other side of, we have something called Vancouver Island, which is like a big island that neighbors our province. It's like a 2-hour ferry ride away. And there's lots of cities there. The capital of our province is there. So there's something there called the Loop. And it's a ride around the island and through some beautiful forests and across the ocean side that is apparently really beautiful and a good ride. So that is something I really want to do. Yeah.
Cool. Welcome to the chat, Sick Bastard and Julie Campagna. Welcome in.
Hello.
You forgot to spread your socials. You should have friends in here where I can say, "Oh, that must be your friend." Next time, share it among your friends though. I think they'll enjoy it.
I will. Yeah.
All right. So how many bikes? You've had 2 bikes, right?
Just the 2. Yeah.
But are you looking for another bike? Do you have anything on your wish list that you're like,
so
this looks good?
When I read through your question, I was like, oh, there is a bike that I think I want, and you would never guess it, but I think it would be really fun to have a little Grom to practice this fun stuff that I'm doing.
The crowd would love that.
Bike.
No, the crowd. So we go to Forgotten Angels every year. They have Groms there.
Yeah.
And they don't shut off. So there's 3 Groms there every year, and they try to have a contest on whose Grom is going to get the most hours on it while we're there.
Yeah.
Because they ride the snot out of them there.
So
I
I was
wish
thinking,
Jerry was in the chat because Jerry is the Grom king. He actually has
okay,
a Grom that's souped up. It has souped up intake, souped up exhaust. I don't know what he's done to it, but he's got had it
yeah,
painted. It has Spirit of Knievel. It's in red, white, and blue. The name of the bike is Spirit of Knievel, and he's got the name etched on the side. And people
cool.
go out of their way on these Groms to just do crazy stuff to them.
Yeah, I
So
think
yeah,
it
you're
would
not
be.
alone. You're not alone there.
You know what I did? So when I first booked my first road test, I borrowed motors from my riding school for the road test. So I thought, oh, I'll take a Grom. That'll be easy to do my road test on a Grom. So I got there, but if I do a test on anything less than a 200cc, you're limited to a 200cc on your license.
Which is the way it should be. I mean, yeah, I wish they wouldn't
So
do that here.
I had to forfeit that road test, rebook it, and go back with a bigger bike. But anyways, yeah.
They have tried here in America to go to the class licenses on motorcycles to where you have to ride 1 year as a 250 or below, and then the next year you can ride up to a 500, and the next year you can ride up to an 800, and then after that you go unlimited. But it's like, you're looking at in America, a lot of people grew up on farm tractors riding, whatever they could hold up, a bunch of Frankenstein stuff. So it'd be really weird to all of a sudden say, okay, now you can't ride anything but this.
Yeah.
Because then you'll have I wish they would do that on cars, because you got people that get their, they'll drive a Ford Focus and get their license, then they step into this, 4,000-pound truck and then wreck it and just drive all over everybody.
Yeah.
So I wish they would do that here, but
yeah,
I digress. So you kind of talked about Vancouver Island already, but is there anywhere you would like to go on a motorcycle today? You could start anywhere, end anywhere. Where would you like to go on a motorcycle and ride? Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. I think doing some beautiful mountainside hills and like a castle tour in like Scotland would be amazing. The pictures that I've seen that the riders are posting, and they've got their bikes all packed up, and they just go on those long rides through the mountains and stop for coffee. And I don't know, I think that would be really amazing.
I just saw a bunch of friends who have ridden the Stelvio Pass in Italy and across through France and stuff. And I look at some of them and I go, oh man, I would love to do that. And then some of these roads they're riding is like, yeah, I've been riding for over 40 years, but I'm not sure if I want to ride that. But I think it would be, again, the camera does a lot to make it look weirder. I rode on roads that, in Arkansas that are on the side of a mountain, and when you have no shoulder, it just falls off into a cliff. And I can say I've done it, but would I want to do it again? I don't know. Would I probably do it again? Probably. On purpose? Maybe not.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
But again, I see people like, so there was a group a couple used to follow called Budding King Hogs, and they would ride on these roads literally as wide as a tractor, and there's cars coming and going on both sides, and they act like it's just no big deal, and it's just crazy to watch that stuff.
Yeah, and the hairpin turns and cars coming down the opposite direction as you're making those hairpin curves up, and there's cars coming. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Arkansas has those roads that there's curves 10 miles an hour, and you've got to slow down that much, and you're literally, your skills are tested for sure. These slow speed drills totally change when you're on an incline. I mean,
the videos that I've seen, they're going up, but they're trying to make this turn, but then the cars are coming around.
And going down is even worse. I mean, you're going down and you go to turn, and the bike doesn't want to turn because you're decelling. And as you turn, the bike is just still going straight, even though your wheels are turned, because it's ungodly. These corkscrews are crazy. I can't explain to you how weird they are until you ride one. But it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's a little bit nerve clenching. It's something clenching, that's for sure. Yeah, Buck says everyone should have to drive a semi just once, and your driving habits would instantly improve.
Yeah. How about the other cars on the road, Buck? I don't know if they want me to semi.
All right. Have you inspired anyone to ride or wrench on their own bikes? Question first: do you wrench on your own bike? Do you change your own oil?
No, but I'm going to learn how to change my oil. I know how to clean my chain. But yeah, I'm going to learn how to change my oil. Yeah, my boyfriend does all that stuff, so
it's definitely once you start doing your own oil and doing your own maintenance, even if it's just your own oil and checking things and changing light bulbs, it gives you a relationship with that bike, and you feel so much closer to the bike.
Yeah.
Plus, you save a lot of money.
Yeah. And I do. I want to learn. I'll learn to do that stuff, the basic stuff at the very least. It interests me.
I had someone tell me once that changing oil in your bike on my BMW was impossible. You can't do it. It's got to be done by the dealer. You know, you avoid the warranty. And I'm like, no, it's they actually encourage you. The company encourages you to do your own stuff on the bikes. It's the dealer that tells you can't because they want to make that money. The dealer, the company wants to push to you, you can do this yourself because they want to sell you a bike that you can maintain on your own. It's the dealer that says, it's the dealer that says, whoa, hold on, you can't do this. It's the warranty, blah, blah, blah. I've never seen a warranty that tells you if you change your own oil, you avoid the warranty, except for one. There was a car back in the 90s called the Probe, and they said you couldn't change your own oil. The whole engine was sealed. And they got sued, and a judge said, if you can't change your own oil, then the dealer has to do it for free. They took that car off the market.
Really?
Yes. Because again, the engine was sealed. And, you know, when I say it was sealed, they had little just like a back of a truck or a back of like safety seals all over the engine. When you broke the seals, you had to reseal them. They took the car off the market because people were like, cool, now you got to do my spark plugs, you got to do my engine oil, you got to do my transmission. And they said, oh, sorry, this car's recalled. Sorry, we're not servicing anymore. Harley just went through the same thing. Harley was saying, if you didn't get all your aftermarket stuff put on, your services done there, you avoid the warranty. Well, they had a lawsuit, and here about 2 years ago, they had to issue an addendum to the warranties that said you can have them done with any dealer, or you can do them yourself as long as you use the right oils. And if you have a catastrophic,
they were saying that the warranty would be voided.
Yeah, and a judge said, nope, anybody can do it as long as it's a valid. That's why now if you read through your manual, it'll say you must use this approved oil, SAE, whatever, blah, blah, or you avoid the warranty. So, and I've been told by BMW, as long as if you have a catastrophic failure on that engine and they go in, they'll test the oil first thing and make sure that the right oil is in it.
Yeah.
And if it is, and it is literally the difference in detergent and non-detergent if it's a clutched bike, if it's a wet clutch bike, or you know, if it's a tight sealed bike, it has to be the right viscosity, and that's it. If it's the right viscosity and it's detergent or not detergent, whatever they recommend, they have to warranty that bike.
Yeah. People don't know that. The common people, if they don't, they just trust what the dealership tells them, and they're too scared to make a mistake, and so they just pay.
I've had people tell me you can't take the drain plugs out. You'll drop the drain plug off in the engine, and it ruins the engine. The BMW has 2 drain plugs in it. And one big one on the bottom and a smaller one up top that actually just controls the rockers and keeps the rocker oil hot. And I've been told if you take the top one, the one up inside out, you'll ruin the engine. And I'm like, you can actually leave that plug totally out. It doesn't matter. All it does is keep the engine oil hot up top. That's all it does. So you can take it out and it just takes the bike longer to warm up. That's it.
I guess they don't have anything to say back to you when you say that, right?
Yeah. Oh, I actually had somebody tell me that BMW sells a thing to reset the service timer. And the one that the 911 one cost $350, and the program to run it's another $100. I bought a $40 OBD off of Amazon with a $9 program from BMW, and I can reset my own service timers and reset my own stuff and my mileage and stuff. And people go, "You faked that? That's Photoshop. You photoshopped that." And I was like, "You saw me do it on the video, and I made videos on it." So
people still called you out though. They tried to tell you it wasn't.
Oh yeah, that's fake. You faked that. You faked it. Dude, I wish I could fake it. I wish I was smart enough to Photoshop this and make it look bad.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Had the editing tools to do that.
I know you said you're on a time limit, so you said you have 10 more minutes. We're going to run through these. We're trying not to be sloppy, but.
Calls. No. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we talked about whatever bike you could buy would be the Grom.
Yeah.
So we'll skip to the exciting one. Okay. What bike would you want to ride just once, knowing you could never afford it or ride it again? We're talking a bike that's either so expensive or so rare that if someone did have it, and if they did let you ride it, they're like, okay, one time, that's it.
So I feel this is where I feel like a bit of, I am so new to the bike world. I didn't grow up with this passion of bikes. I can't can't tell what kind of bike is on the road by listening to the engine. You know, like I'm not there. So for me to say, to give you like a real answer for that is like, I just love my bike.
That's a good enough answer. I mean,
so I don't want to pretend, you know, if you look at like Trinity from the Matrix on her Scrambler, I think she was pretty hot on that. So yeah.
she had, that was actually, I saw that, I've seen that bike a couple of times, and actually, Keanu Reeves actually bought that bike after the film was over, and it's in his private collection. And he bought her, Carrie Ann Moss, bought her a bike like it, because she didn't know how to ride before the movie.
She learned, right?
Yeah. She had to learn for the movie, and he bought her a motorcycle. Very cool.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. He seems like a cool guy.
Oh, he's an extremely cool guy. All right. What is one thing you'll never get on a motorcycle without?
Well, a helmet, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, that it?
Well, no, that's the one thing, but no.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, I'm okay with gloves now. But at the beginning, when I was on my Rebel, I hated wearing gloves. I felt like it was maybe sensory overload. The boots, the helmet, the gloves, the visor, like I think suddenly like it was sensory deprivation. I was not used to having all this stuff. I couldn't feel the clutch with my boots. And so when I took my gloves off, when I would practice just in my complex parking lot, I was like, oh, I can actually feel the throttle. But I'm good with my gloves now.
If you have a problem with your boots, you should try the Indy Ridge boots. Try the Comanches.
Okay, I'll look it up. I have good ones now. Like we'll have some used ones now, but they're a little bit thinner on the top. So
Comanches actually feel like sneakers. They feel like tennis shoes. They feel like Converse sneakers, but they're composite toe. They have ankle guards and they have an undersole that's actually reinforced. They're the only CE2 rated boot in America.
Okay.
You basically run over, and they do testing on these bikes. And I've actually seen people, and since I actually work for the company. I've seen the pictures come in from the testing where people have been run over in these boots and their legs have been broken. But one guy, the doctor told him if you wouldn't have these boots on, you'd lost your foot, because you'll still take the force, but you don't take the brunt force on the ankle, on the joints, on the end of the foot, and actually across the bridge.
Is that Komachi? No.
Comanche. It's Indy Ridge is the company. Go to any of my videos. I've got them in there. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, so you may or may not have an answer for this one, but what is your favorite motorcycle from a movie or TV series?
Well, that's what I would say is probably from The Matrix. Watching The Matrix and Carrie Ann Moss. Yeah, it's
very cool.
Yeah. Actually, someone wrote who's on Threads. They're from my city, and they're like, any chance you were at such and such street on the weekend? There was a cute girl there on her red Ducati zipping by. I was like, no, it wasn't me. Maybe it was Carrie Ann Moss.
All right, IndyRidgeUSA.com. That is the company.
Okay.
So you can like all of the video, and make sure you enter the code. Randy got wet again for 15% off.
Okay.
I'm working this out. Okay. All right, last question. Yeah. Who would you like to ride with from the past or present? Could be dead or could be alive.
It would be my father. Yeah. I think that would be really cool. Yeah. I would try to find out from my uncle, his brother, before I chatted with you today, what kind of Harley he had, but he didn't write me back in time. He's probably busy, but apparently my dad had a cherry red. So, but he was only 29 when he passed. So, yeah. But that's who I would ride if I could.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Family members, I guess. I guess we all have that one person that, and for me, whenever I'm riding alone and I'm watching something cool, it's you watch Forrest Gump. I'm assuming it's the most famous movie in the world, when he's looking at all these gorgeous things, and the only thing he can think of is if he wishes Jenny was there with him. And there's been times I've called my wife and told her things I'm seeing. I'm like, oh, you got this is freaky. This would be awesome. You would love this. Because there's just things and I'm lucky enough that she's still with me. So she rides with me sometimes, but sometimes it's funny that she's not with me when the weirdest things happen or the coolest things happen, and I'll call her and go, "This just happened. This is so crazy." Because you want to share those things. You want to share those things, and they're very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
No. I
just
want
to minutes.
Thank you for like reaching out and finding me friends and being kind for a new girl in the motorcycle world.
I think it's important to new riders to obviously share with them, bring them into the fold, not gatekeep. I think that's the worst thing as motorcyclists, or anything you can do is try to gatekeep and say, this is my thing and you're not allowed. It doesn't matter if it's a girl, a young guy, whatever. This is something I like to share. Like the Jenny thing. This is something I want to share because I think so highly of the motorcycle world and the people that are in it. All these people that are in the chat, I love these people. I love these people to death, and I've actually had some of them in my house, and I plan on having more of them in my house because this is a brotherhood, a sisterhood. This is a family. That when you give that that 2-finger down to somebody, you don't have to know who they are. You don't have to know their life story and who they are and what political party they belong to. They're on 2 wheels, and that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Maybe that's my other favorite part is being able to put 2 fingers down and when riders go by, it's like that instant sense of connection and like, look at us go, Yeah.
It is.
So that's what I would just like to say is I mostly have shared this journey on Threads. Threads is new. I'm new, and it just worked out for me to share there. And yeah, I feel like how you feel like I feel connected to so many people on there that we regularly comment and connect and say nice things or offer criticism. Well, I'm not offering anyone advice, but I'm taking a lot.
And again, you're going to get those people who, it don't matter if it's the motorcycle world, the workout world, the gym world, whatever.
You're right.
You're going to have people who are going to be just turds.
They're gatekeepers. They don't want you there.
Yeah, they're gatekeepers. Exactly. Yeah. You're like, oh, this is my thing, and you're not special enough. Let me tell you everything that's wrong with you and what you're doing.
That's exactly it. You're not special enough. Get back in the car.
I'm one of those people that I love this. So I follow a lot of workouts. I follow a lot of people who are gym goers and these CrossFit people. And I'll see some woman that's 350 pounds and she's in the gym and she's sweating and I'm thinking, that's awesome.
Yes.
And I'll go through and find the comments that people are picking her apart. And I'm like, let me tell you what the real world's about, buddy. Because you ain't that special yourself. I've seen your profile. And so it just tears me apart when people do crazy things just because they can.
I've had some nice people on Threads re-comment back to those comments, like why are you trying to tear guys down? You've got someone who's practicing safely, all her gear's in a parking lot. Did you forget what it's like to be a new rider? And so it's like, someone got my back. He doesn't even know me, right? But that's the
and I think it is a lot of times it's these people who don't ride all the time and don't ride a lot. They just got in and they think that they're a member of a clique now and they need to gatekeep for some weird reason. Again, people that have been around a long time, they love seeing new riders. They love seeing people on motorcycles. I have people walk. It never fails me. If somebody's going to walk up to me at a gas station, they're going to say one of 2 things. They're going to say, I used to have a motorcycle, or I know somebody who got killed on a motorcycle, or I know somebody who, kids always say the same thing. They're like, can I rev it up? I'm like, yeah, you got it. I love it. I went out to tacos one time and I brought my helmet in, and this kid wanted to put my helmet on. And the mother's like, oh, no, you do it. I was like, hell yeah, he can do it. Put the helmet on. And I got pictures of this kid, and I shared them on my Instagram, my Facebook, because this kid's eyes, he was so happy. I just made a new motorcycle. I just made a 5-year-old motorcyclist. That kid's going to grow up and have a motorcycle. And a kid's going to ask him to put on his motorcycle and his helmet, and he's going to go, hell yeah. Because that's what it's all about, sharing this passion that we have and, feeding it forward and making sure that this stays alive for everybody for years to come.
Well, I felt it and I appreciate it so much. And so,
Absolutely cool. Glad having you on again. So stay on for a second and I'll talk to you again. But for one last time, make sure everybody goes to ForgottenAngelsFlorida.org and donate some money. It can be $5, it can be $10. You can buy a raffle ticket and win. There's 3 motorcycles up for raffle right now. You can win one of them. And there's going to be 3 more next month, and there's 3 more next month. And October is the camp out. Make sure you guys tune in. We're going to have a whole bunch of special videos on the camp out. So for now, Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Say goodbye, Rebecca.
Bye. Thank you for coming. Thanks for having me.
All right, hang on for just a second.